Welcome to the HMO Property Show. By investors, for investors. Catch us weekly as we discuss all things cash flow positive property investing. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a new landlord, or just curious about property investing, this is the podcast for you. Sponsored by the Co-Living Collective, your trusted partner in creating vibrant and sustainable shared living experiences. Visit us at colivingcollective.com.au to learn more.
Welcome back to the HMO Property Show. I'm your host, Neil Gibb, and today we've got two of Perth's newest property flippers, but not just newest property flippers, newest to leave their jobs after flipping properties for 12 months.
18
18 months. That's another 6 months.
Yeah.
That's incredible, guys. Well done. So firstly, welcome, Danny and Lexi.
Thank you.
Neil.
Thanks for
Thanks
coming
for
on the
having
podcast.
us, Neil.
Yeah.
Absolute pleasure. I met Danny first on the Brett and Marie's. Was it the Crucible we met at?
I think it was the summit.
The Summit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year.
So similar mentors. And then when I heard what you guys were doing, instantly took an interest to it because it kind of reminded me of the journey when me and Joe started back in 2016-ish.
Yeah.
And then when I heard that you said quit your jobs, we'll get into how you quit your job soon, but similar background as well. Danny doing fly in, fly out, same as me. Was
Oil and gas. I was projects for oil and gas and mining.
Yeah, so similar, very, very similar story that we're hearing, right? So, but what I will say is you did it faster than us. So well done. We started in 2016. I quit my job in 2019.
Okay.
You did it in like half the time.
We were ready.
Well done, guys.
It's not a
Well
race.
done. So before we get into the mechanics of how you did it, right? Where were you? Let's talk 2024 because this all started in 2025, right? Let's talk mid 2024. Like, what was life like back then? What were you both doing?
You start because
Yeah, mid 2024 was
hard.
a pivotal moment for both of us, but especially me. We'd been on a beautiful holiday and I'd broken my back, and I was on the couch thinking I can't keep doing life how I'm doing life, and there was a lot of soul searching happening, and I was working from home still and I had a fantastic boss in mining, a great team that I worked with, but it just wasn't fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
And the way that I had described it to Dan was the audio and the visual just didn't align anymore. It was the only way I could really explain how I felt about it. And it was time to do something that I was passionate about and really challenge ourselves. We'd been living, I think, from fear. We had been on a number of things and in multiple areas of our life. And so we decided that we would go down a path that we'd wanted to for a while, which was renovating properties. We'd bought and sold properties of our own and done renovations to them and seen that we could add value and really uplift. And then we thought, right, well, we've got to find a way to do this full time. So we educated ourselves with a lot of stuff online. We did a couple of courses and then we really just sort of knuckled down together and got a plan on what we wanted to do. And then the rest was really history.
I just want to go back to the start of that when
Yeah.
you said that you broke your back.
Yeah.
How do you break your back and how do you recover from that as well? Because it's a serious injury, right?
Yeah. So I fell down the stairs outside the Colosseum in Rome on the last or second last day of our holiday. Just a freak accident, really. I was watching where I was walking. I saw my foot slip out and the way I fell was pretty full on. And
Wow.
yeah, it was a painful flight home the next day. So, yeah, recovery was just slow. It was, humbling to say the least,
was.
having to get people to help you put your shoes on. And it's still, some things are still pretty tricky. But I think it's just it was a real moment of like shaking me awake. And you realise how much you take for granted in every day and that it could have been very different, the outcome. So, whilst it was hard, it was also a case of, well, this could have been a lot worse. My recovery, I suppose, is still going a bit. There's things I still can't do, but there's a lot I can do. So, depending who you ask, if you look at the physical side of it, there's that. But then there's also like looking at the spiritual side and the energetic side of what does that mean, and I actually took the time as well during that to really download a lot of stuff. I wrote a book and
Nice.
it was a poignant pause, I guess.
Pause that sometimes we need, right?
Absolutely.
Just don't want to hit the pause button in the fashion that you did.
Yeah.
How long were you laid up for?
I was on crutches for
You were laid up for
2
at
months,
least-
maybe.
At least
Yeah.
6. Was it?
Yeah.
It was a good 6 months for recovery.
Yeah.
You know, really, and it sort of went a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
When by the time you're on your feet and
Did you take that time to? Is that when you started educating yourself on where you wanted
Yeah.
to go? Yeah.
Yep. And then we would just sort of spend time listening to different things, researching different things. I had a different sort of spreadsheet for each suburb and watching how it was tracking and doing the data analysis and having had Dan and Jack tease me the entire European holiday of my spreadsheet. It turned out that it came in handy
Everyone
using
needs
it.
a spreadsheet. Don't
she's
they?
very
Everyone
organised.
needs a
Everything
spreadsheet.
has a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So it was really just like getting a feel for where's the market outside of where we're living in terms of our own home, because treating it like a business is fundamentally different to what you're doing with your own home. Although a lot of the principles are the same, like decisions that we make at home, we still make one with ourselves first and foremost and the way we want to live, but then secondly, what will this do to add value or not for future if we're not going to stay there forever?
Beautiful. What about yourself, Danny? What was your kind of background, 2024 time?
Yeah, Lex and I had both always loved property, both before we were together and you know, now since we've been together, we've bought and renovated and added value. We've always had that common interest. So
Is it about property that we love?
I don't know. It's just
It's addictive.
I think
Yeah, but why?
Yeah.
it's a tangible asset.
you can fix
It's you know, it's nice to take something really old and decrepit and turn it into something beautiful and new, and you know, it brings out creativity, brings out, you know, I love building things and construction and things like that. So it just brings out, it's got so much variety in it.
Yeah.
I think-
Restoring something back to its original
Yeah.
former glory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
And, you know, making a living out of it, I think
better.
has always been the goal
Yeah.
for both of us. So that's where, and we'd done that with houses that we'd lived in, added value, created equity, either sold it or, you know, lived in it for a while, then sold it. So we really wanted to turn it into a business. And it was just getting that financial side of things, I suppose, understood, you know, learning how to get investors, learning how to get money partners, as they call them, or investors, JVs call it. Learning that side of things was kind of like the missing piece. We knew how to renovate, we knew how to buy and sell and things like that, but that was the missing piece that we needed to really educate ourselves on. So we did that. 2024, 2023, 2024, did a few courses, and then away we went. And we were confident enough to buy our first one end of 2024, and then it settled just before Christmas in 2024. And we were
Straight in there.
basically,
Christmas Day.
Christmas
we
Eve,
were
we were
demoing.
working,
We were
Boxing Day.
demoing on Christmas and
Yeah.
over that period. So we just went hell for leather from there. I think we did that reno in like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Had it back on the market, you know, end of January.
Let's talk about this first deal then, because the first ones are normally the hardest, but also the ones that you learn the most things from as well. So
Yeah.
we don't have to go back that far, right? It was January 2025. It's like less than a month,
Seems like a lifetime
just about a
ago,
year ago, right?
Yeah.
Take us back, like what suburb was it in?
Padbury.
Padbury. Do you remember what you paid for it?
Yeah, we paid.
764,
764 and sold for roughly
1.09.
1.09.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the beauty of this is you had none of your own money in the deal, if I remember rightly.
Well, we
We
did.
did.
Oh, you had your own
We
money.
did.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of our own money in that
Right.
deal.
In
Sorry.
the first one. Yeah, we did in the first one.
Right.
And that was actually one of the learnings, was to not do that on the
Not
second
put all our
one.
money in.
Yeah, because it held us up
Yeah.
moving on to the next one.
Yep.
And we put a lot of hours in feeling like, who's going to back us? We're new, like, who's going to go in on this with us? And that was a huge mental shift we had to make. And learning that was huge. It was, I'd say, the biggest learning of that project was not putting as much in.
This is the second one.
Yeah, for the second one, not putting as much in.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first one, I think, we
put in like half of the investment.
Yeah.
By the time you sort of took the purchase price and the reno and the fees, we put about half of that in, and then we got investors to do the other half.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Interesting though that you said, why would people back us? Was that like a little bit of imposter syndrome at the start of the journey?
Oh, for
kicking in?
sure, because we'd never done it before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Dan's really good with that side of things because he sees it as, well, it's a great deal, so why wouldn't they? Whereas I was like, but they don't know us and they don't know what we're capable of. They don't realise that we've managed teams before, in our past lives, and managed complex schedules and projects and budgets and all that sort of thing. So we had the skills and we'd done a lot of our own stuff. But to strangers out there, they don't know all of that. And you have a very fleeting kind of interaction with these people.
Yeah.
And so it's really about, like, I do a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, but Dan's having those conversations with people, and I think that works well. And he's able to sort of say to people, well, it is a great investment and it's a great return, so why not?
I think it's a mindset shift. When you start out, a lot of people have this thing of, but people are giving me money. Well, you're borrowing money and they're lending it, yes, but they're investing. So they're getting a return on their investment. They're getting a very good return on their investment. So that's the shift. It's like, well,
you're creating an opportunity.
We're a partnership. They're getting something and we're getting something.
Yes.
So it's give and take and it's win-win.
Yes. A lot of people ask me about joint ventures, like how do you do them? How do you ask people for the money? How do you structure them? There's no one answer to any of that, right? But for the first deal that you did, for the remaining capital that you needed, how many people did you have to speak to before you filled that portion of the deal?
We had 3 investors and we said no to one because his terms were just, I thought they were unfair. He wanted too much. And then the other 3 just literally, there was straight away.
Cool. So you spoke to 4 people in total.
Yeah.
3 of them invested.
Yeah.
And the other one we said no to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you went from like, why would they back us to like, we don't even want to work with you, bro.
Yeah. Do you know what though? It is so, that was the very first big decision I felt like. And I remember I was actually on a work trip when we were going through this, and I was sitting at Melbourne Airport, and I remember Dan saying to me, but, like, maybe we should go with this. And I said, you and I agreed it's the right people, and we're not doing it unless it's the right people. It doesn't matter what the situation is. And we were like, yeah, we spoke about it. And the things you say no to are important as well in this, like same as with the properties. We've said no to certain tradespeople. We've said no. That's actually as important as the yes a lot of the time.
How important, how hard is it to say no with the skill set that you've got now? Because you start to see opportunity everywhere, right? And my wife used to call me a magpie. She used to say, you used to get distracted all the time by all these opportunities. So how do you guys kind of stay focused and say no to opportunities that other people would say yes to?
It's tricky. It's definitely a balance. You have to... how do you do it is different every time.
Yeah.
Because each situation is different. But I think you definitely have to trust your gut. You have like our business is called Intuitive Property. We called it that for a reason, because it's a mixture of intuition, analysis and research of data. It's a combination of everything, and then you make your mind up based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely tuning into whether it feels right overall. And if it's not a win-win, it usually ends up not a great situation.
If you're trying to force something, it's not going to work.
Yeah. I learned that from Brett Marie. Stop forcing. He used to say to me, stop forcing things. If you stop forcing them, more will happen. And he used to think, how does that work? Like, I'm trying to get these things to work. And he's like, but if you take a step back, then...
So true.
Yeah.
I know that more often than not too, it's the energy around it, it's the atmosphere. It's the same as when we'll walk into houses. Within 2 seconds, I'm like, we're not buying this house. And Dan's like, we haven't even seen it. And I'm like, we won't be buying it. I can tell you that now, because it doesn't have the right feel to it. And you can't explain that to someone, but people who walk into a home to buy, most people will go, I knew it. the moment I walked in the door, I felt it. And it's no different with what we're doing.
This
And
is
it's
the
got
one.
nothing to do with what it looks like, whether it's filled with hoarders stuff, whether it's run down. It's nothing to do with that. It either has the right feel to it or it doesn't. And we trust that a lot, along with the data.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we're even looking at it, we know that numbers-wise it stacks up.
So finishing off that first deal then, making the profit that you did and rolling into the second deal, what was your mindset like raising capital from investors then? Was there a bit of a shift from why were they backers
We
to-
definitely had more confidence
Yeah.
after the first one and had some runs on the board. So going into the second deal and then even the third after that, we were pretty confident that we could get investors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just sort of ended up with a different problem. Like you tackle one thing and you grow in confidence in that area. But because, like we said, we had put a lot of our money into the first one, we had to wait till that settled, we felt, to then move on to something else. So we were sort of spinning our wheels for a bit. And there were moments where we were like, were we just a one-hit wonder?
Yeah.
Like, what
It
if
did
we
take
never
us
get
a while
another
to
property?
find that
Yeah.
second one. And
Yeah.
when we found it though, one of the investors from the first one, they went in the whole
Yeah.
lot. They did the whole lot for
Yeah,
the
right.
second one.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And this was it. Like I said to Dan, shall I just email them, let them know, and ask if they're interested in reinvesting? And he's like, yeah. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, I feel like
Really?
I need to do this. So I sent this email and I was like, anyway, if you're interested, let us know how much you're interested for. Love to hear from you. Within 2 minutes, I had an email back saying we'll do the lot.
Perfect.
And I was just like, Dan! I got me running downstairs.
And how many deals have you gone on to do with that or that investor as well? Have you done more than two?
They've been in all but one.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
but one, yeah.
Yeah. So we always say when you find that group of investors, we generally have like 3 or 4 go-tos that we go to all the time
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Because they know you, they know the deals. the
Trust has been
the trust
established.
authorities are there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. So how many renos have you done now then? How many flips?
Flips.
Since you've started the professional flipping?
Oh, yeah.
7.
7.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd like to do, we did one last year, which was for, like what we call it, not for profit. It was for a friend of the family, basically.
Yep.
And we want to do another one soon as well. We've
Yeah.
got somebody
Each
who
year.
would like to,
So just
who
offering
would like to help.
your skills and project management
Yeah.
services. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they still paid their own smaller budget for like the trades, plumbing, electrical, but we were able to help with some of the hands-on stuff and then also manage and coordinate the trades. And they also did it at a reasonable price too. They looked after the person. So that was really good. And it's rewarding. Like
Nice to be able to do that.
to be able to see someone who otherwise wouldn't be able to be in a really safe, comfortable home environment, close to family. Like that's what it's about,
Yeah.
you know.
Giving back
Yeah.
and contribution.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So out of the 7 flips that you've done then, which would you say was the one that brought the biggest lessons?
Number 6, the one
Number
that we've just gotten under contract,
Yep.
Yeah.
definitely was the biggest,
Yeah.
provided the biggest lessons. Yeah.
It was the biggest reno and the biggest lessons, I
Yep.
would say.
Biggest reno in terms of cost?
Yes.
Yeah, and also just in terms of what we did. So, you know, it was stripped right back. I mean, we do strip all of them back, but this was even took the roof up, replaced the roof, replaced some doors and windows. We had council approvals, added a swimming pool, a deck,
Wow.
and it was all, you know, in
4
8
lots
weeks.
of council approvals.
Yeah. So the whole thing was start to finish 8 weeks, and it was a lot.
8 weeks, 4 lots of council approval, and you replaced the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And put it in a pool.
And 100 and something square metre deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 8 weeks.
933 square metre block. And when we started the reno, there was one really big ghost gum tree and nothing else. And the whole thing was landscaped by the end and had established plants and beautiful garden. So it was a massive amount of work. And throughout it was throughout that kind of quiet period too in January where a lot of the trades hadn't come back yet. We were trying to get council stuff approved while we were away, and you know there was a lot going on. And I had a broken arm by then, as well.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh, here we go. Start
Yes.
again. Yep.
Yeah, it's never easy, is it?
No.
We were talking before we hit record on this podcast when we were saying like the reward for solving the problems from the previous project are bigger problems that we tackle because our ambitions get better,
Yeah.
our goals get bigger, and the outcomes that we want to create are even better.
Yes.
So the sixth one is the one that's brought the biggest lessons. Have you like we're talking about any of the lessons?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I know
we
it's
can
just,
talk
it's
about
just
it,
under
yeah.
contract at the minute, so we can't talk about
Yeah,
like
we
the
won't
end
talk
of
about
it, but
like dollars around it, but
No.
I think it's the biggest lesson to me was to remain true to ourselves. We deviated a few times. We allowed things to start that didn't align with our standards, and we needed to address that.
here's an example.
So, like in any team, if you get someone on the job who hasn't got the right attitude and approach, it has a massive impact on everyone there. Doesn't matter if they're good at the skill set, it's everything else that goes with it. And we did have someone on that job who was really just...
We had more than one.
More than one, but one in particular, and it really caused a lot of knock-on problems. And it just... the second that part of the work was done and the quality was there, that was no problem. But once that person was off-site, the whole vibe shifted and it caused us to sort of say, is it really worth it? Like, is it worth it getting someone who does a great job but their attitude stinks? And I would say our answer now is no. And we just won't do that again. And if that means we have to lose a few days, then we'll lose a few days because the cost that it has on everyone else and their experience of it and people who we really treasure as trades and friends and teammates, I just wouldn't do that again.
Yeah, can't do much without the tradies, can you? So happy team is a productive team.
That's right. Yeah. It's
We've got some
crucial.
really, really good trades.
Yeah.
Our core trades that have been with us, that have done a few projects with us, are very, very good.
Fantastic.
It's when you get when you're doing something different.
Yeah.
And you get an outlier or something that you've never quite done before, putting in a pool, for example, or whatever.
Your roof.
The roof,
Yeah.
And I would add to that as well that on some of the big scopes, we didn't pivot quick enough. We were trying to force things because we thought that we were backed into a corner and we had to carry on. But you've got more options than you think most of the time. If you think outside the box, which we, in hindsight, could have done, and just like Lex said, take that 1 or 2 extra days to think outside the box and get a better solution, we could have done that.
Yeah.
And that cost us a few times.
Yeah. Time or money?
Time and money.
Yeah. Time is money, isn't it?
Yeah.
These days,
100%.
the longer it takes.
Yeah, that's right. But I also think there were positive lessons too in that a year before that, I remember, so this property is in Wembley Downs, and we were driving down Hale Road, if you know the area, and I remember going through the lights at Hale Road and Weaponess, and it was sunset, and I said to Dan, gosh, it would be great to do a flip in this pocket. I'd love to do that. And he said it will be. And a year later, literally where we were driving past is where we ended up. And it was just like pinch ourselves. And the lesson, I guess, there is like what you think about really does have an impact. And we can get caught in that from a negative point of view as well, when you're under the pump and it's stressful and everything seems to be going wrong and you think, oh my God, what's happened today? But if you actually stop and then realise what's going right and what you're thinking about, that whole what you focus on expands.
Power of intention.
Yeah.
Power of intention, setting intentions.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable how true that is and how much that unfolds on these jobs.
Yeah.
And you can actually just watch it happening if you step back. So that's pretty cool. And backing ourselves in, like, if someone had asked us when we started, would we be doing that particular project? I don't know that we had the confidence in ourselves then to say yes. We would have liked to. But you can actually do anything. And that was the whole point, really, of going into this, was not just to prove it to ourselves that, oh, we can do what we want in life and take a chance and we don't have to be fearful, but also like show the kids that as well. Because you're here for a short time. Like, might as well give it a go.
Might as well make the most of it.
Exactly. Here for a good time, not for a long time,
That's
aren't we?
right.
Because it literally goes in the blink of an eye, doesn't it, life? And we got to do the best we can to have the best experience we can as well.
Yeah.
Do you do vision boards?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
How's your vision boards been looking in terms of concept versus reality? Are they close?
Interesting.
Yeah, we've definitely hit a few things on there.
Yeah.
Some of it we haven't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine, you know.
Yeah, we actually redid one. So we've got a place, a couple of places actually that we'll take time out and go to, and especially if we're feeling a bit stuck, like in a bit of a rut. And we did a bit of a revision of the vision. Only a few weeks ago when we were really like at the pointy end of the Wembley Downs project. And it helped us get clarity around what it is we need to be focusing on. That we're missing a core part of the team, which is at the sales end, because we do all the work and then we're reliant on someone to be delivering that. So we needed to focus on that. We needed to look at whether we'd actually set the bar a bit low in some areas in terms of what we could achieve, and whether we had the balance as well. Because you can easily put numbers on the page of this is what we want to get in the business, but then when you're looking at it and you're taking no time off and you're missing out on wellness stuff and connection and all that, it really needed to bring that back into it.
Yeah.
One thing that we're both looking at the moment is we set these projects up quite well and we have our schedule and our budget and everything, and then when it goes, it's like a train. You can't stop it. No. You're not going to stop it. So you do end up getting swept along a little bit, and life, the project becomes all consuming. Yeah. And the rest of life almost stops, especially towards the end. Yeah. When that schedule has been very compressed and you have a very large amount of work to do, so many moving pieces in that tight frame of time, the rest of life just goes out the window and you have to get it finished. So we need to get better at that. That's what our goal is, to improve on that so that it's not just all consuming at the end.
Well, I mean, you think of the numbers that you have done, right? So you're on number 7 now, is that what you said? And started in Jan 25, so you've almost done a project every 2 months. You think about it, which that's full on. Yeah. That's full on, considering there's 2 years and then like a team of tradies, right? Yeah. So where do you think it's going to end up then? Are you looking to get a project manager in place to run stuff, and then you guys have more time for yourself? Yeah,
we need to work on scaling it and how to scale and get that bit of life back. Yeah. So
we've dipped our toe in the water in terms of, or probably even more than that. We've kind of waded into the shallow end.
We've thrown ourselves into the deep end.
With floaties and then climbed back out. But we have had we've had some great people take on the role of project coordinator, but it just hasn't worked. And it hasn't worked because they have been excellent tradespeople who also have their own business running at the time, and they just can't split their time. So, you know, we really need to get intentional about where we're headed with that. And that will be key for us in the next 12 months, right, in terms of being able to bring everything back into balance and still progressing the way that we want to.
What is balance? We spoke about it earlier, didn't we? And I've heard you say it a few times, right? So obviously setting up your own business now and stepping away from full-time work, which when you think about it was actually pretty straightforward, wasn't it? And then you step into working for yourself and it's a little bit hectic. Yeah. So what does balance mean for you guys, and how do you know when you're in balance?
Yeah.
It's a really good question and hard to answer.
I think for me it's that internal sense of stillness rather than a bit of chaotic internal. I don't mind going at a fast pace, but I can feel calm and fast. And I wouldn't say this year we've had that. Last year, even though we were newer to it, I think that we did a better job balancing out the other areas because we were focused on why we had done this. There's no point leaving a job to end up just doing another job, only you just work for yourself in that job, right? So, and we seem to get muddied in that and have to grab ourselves and pull ourselves out of it. But I think it's that contribution's a big part. We're balanced when we've got a significant amount of contribution, gratitude, time with the family.
Yeah.
Wellness focus, breath work, saunas, just still time, like being in nature. I used to, last year, even on crutches, I was like barefoot on the grass each morning. It could be freezing
It's
cold.
the small things. It's them small things, right, which are there for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't use them to the best of our advantage as and when we can, right?
That's it.
But even I'm not saying we've got it sorted at all, but the balance for us is to make sure that we just have a break every 90 days.
Yeah.
And that break for me is generally a digital detox as well. So the phone gets turned off for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Because it's non-stop. It's
that's it.
If it's not text messages and WhatsApps and emails, there's Facebook Messenger and Instagram. There's so many ways for people to contact you now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I like phone down sort of thing, and then the simple things we'll try and find out. There was a log cabin that we hired not too long ago. I can't remember the name of it. There's like a few of them scattered around the kind of southwest, and it's just like off grid, no power. It's got little solar panels on there. It's got a little barbecue outside.
Beautiful.
It's just like perfect. And it was
We were talking about exactly that yesterday, weren't we?
in the middle of a field, the sheep running past and horses running past, and that for me, that's the kind of disconnect and the reconnect.
And it's that internal reconnect, right? Because that's that flow. Like when we've done that, incredible ideas have also come, like where we've just completely chilled out, and instead of forcing, we're flowing, and it's uncanny some of the things that have eventuated out of that. And yet we know it, but we still keep going and going and going, thinking that that's productivity, but actually less is more a lot of the time. Yeah.
And I'm going to kind of close that loop. And I said earlier about Brett and Marie saying to me, when you force things, they don't happen. And I think you just nailed it there. Less is sometimes more, isn't it? Because we can try and do all of these things and force all of these things to happen, but there's a natural progression for us to follow, right? You started off with one flip. I mean, how many flips do you run at once? You must be running 2 at once now,
Yeah.
We've overlapped them, definitely.
And soon you'll be doing 3 at once. And then you just go from there,
it's
right?
unsustainable in the current model.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some ideas which I'll flow past you after this as well. But what about, tell me, because you left your job relatively early as well, didn't you, early in the piece? What was the thought process behind that? Was it confident to know that you were going to succeed in what you were going to do? Or was it just like, if it goes wrong, I'll just find a different job?
Both, actually. So there were 3 components for me. One was it was a 2-way door. So you can walk through it and you can walk back. So what's the worst that happens? You walk through the door, doesn't work out, you walk back. Okay, maybe tail between legs, maybe not, but either way, it's not like a one-way door. So despite being scary, it was necessary. And I always had this, another part was needing to really back myself. I always felt like there was more for me and more for me to do and give and be than what I had done. I sort of felt like I'd just ripped myself off a bit. And also, I think we had been through a lot separately and then together, where it felt very much like they were fear-based decisions. If we don't do this, this could happen. If we don't do that, if we don't do this. And then it's like, but what if we just did this? Like, what is the worst that can happen? What if it works? That's right. Like, and, you know, even now you think, I could have done this years ago. Like, but there's also an element, I think, that stops a lot of people. And I know that it played in my head was this thing of, well, shouldn't I just be grateful for the really good job that I have? Because I did have a really good job. You know, it was well paying. It had seen me through some pretty rough times. it had facilitated continuing on with like just enough to keep going all the time, but it didn't really create any feeling of freedom or possibility or adventure or yeah.
I think you nailed it there when you said it provided just enough to keep going at times.
Yeah.
That's why it never felt like freedom, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And it's that kind of trap that a lot of people feel like they're in.
Yeah.
Kind of like that middle class trap where life's good,
Yeah.
but not where I want it to be, but it's good enough. I've got a nice car, nice house type thing.
Yeah.
And we've got money and we go on holiday once a year. But as you're witnessing now, there's a much better life out there, right?
Yeah.
Much better life.
And I do remember as a kid, like I just believed I could do anything as a kid. And I remember truly believing that like I would do amazing things and it just wouldn't be a problem. I remember a day walking down the street I actually now live in that and feeling that and thinking how amazing life was. I could do anything. And then somewhere along the way, like losing that.
You become conditioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because you did say earlier as well, you felt like you were destined for more in life.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, where did that come from? Do you think it came from, being younger and having that thought process? Or was there somebody in your life that used to give you these kind of positive affirmations to say that you're worth more?
Yeah.
Or do you think you come from the goal setting and the coaches and the mentors that you're around?
A bit of everything, I would say. I definitely felt it just in me when I was younger. And then I was about 9 when I remember not feeling like that. I don't remember the exact moment, but I remember when I was 8, I felt like that. And then when I was 9, I didn't. So somewhere along there, something has shifted.
Yeah.
And I also think that you learn to pick up cues around like where the value sits, whether it's community, what community values or schools value or parents or family, friends, whatever. And then you, as someone who, likes to set a goal and achieve it, whatever that felt like, I would pursue that. I can do that. Oh, there we go, tick. I did that, tick. But none of it was really actually what it was about for me, I don't think. But I also think that you end up in a situation where once you realise and get a hint of that back, you go looking for more ways to feel that again. And that's where the mentors come in as well. Yes. And surrounding yourself with the right people, yourself included and Joe and many others who we have as common contacts that we didn't even necessarily know. But it's people who are looking for
more,
looking for a different way, want to find the positive in life and create and give it the best that they've got.
I think it's a crucial part of the puzzle, right? Having them right people around you that have been there, done that, or at least think in the same manner as you do. Because when you come up with your crazy ideas, everyone else is going to shoot you down, but someone else might go, "Oh, that sounds like a good idea."
Yeah.
Why don't you do it?
Yeah. Like, why don't you quit your job?
You should do that.
Why don't you quit your job? Danny, talk us about how you felt about leaving your job, because when we first met, you were still working, but you were planning to get out. Yeah. And then next time I've seen you, you were out. So what was that kind of process like, getting out of that industry? Because it's a good paying industry. You're working offshore, if I remember. Golden handcuffs, all that stuff. So talk us through the kind of mindset and the process around it.
Yeah. I don't know. How did it happen?
It happened when you decided not to go for the job.
I'd always been pretty, like, I have an entrepreneurial mindset. Even as a kid, I would love making things and solving problems and building stuff. And I think what happened, I got on the treadmill of the job and the money was good and went into mining and oil and gas and, as you call it, the golden handcuffs. Yeah. It gives you a lot. The mining, oil and gas industry does give you, it gave us a lot, and worked with some really awesome people. But it's still a job. It's still, 9 to 5, you're working for somebody else. And I've always wanted to work for myself and call it the master of your own ship, master of your own destiny. And I've always wanted to have a genuine shot at financial freedom, call it, and building some generational wealth for our family. And I just see having your own business is the best way to do that. And property, I've loved property, so we wanted to combine those two things. So there was definitely, we had to have a strategy for that. And, you know, Lex was more unhappy in her job than I was. So it's it made sense for one to go before the other.
Yep.
So Lex went first, and I was still had my, I suppose, security in that job, and worked part-time on the weekends, you know, after work with the flipping. And then, you know,
you go back to work for a rest, don't you?
Yeah.
In that industry.
We definitely had to build up enough security blanket for me to go as well.
Yeah. It's a big commitment. Both
It
stepping
is.
out of work,
It is. But like Lex said,
commitment.
it's a two-way door. So, you know, people said to us and said to me when I left, oh, you know, that's a big risk to take. And I think that negative voice in your head tells you that it is. But when you actually sit down and think about it, it's not that much of a risk because you can always go back. If you're smart and you're good at your job, you can always go get another job.
Yeah.
You'll always be able to do that. So we just didn't see it as anything to lose, really.
When you look at it that way, it's potentially riskier staying in that job.
It absolutely is.
Right?
It
Because
is
if you don't
absolutely.
take the risk, if you never know if the jump is going to be worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There were
right.
people who, and I felt quite bad leaving at the time, and I did speak to my boss and I said, don't give that redundancy. I'm going. Use me instead, sort of thing. Because that's what was happening. There were people who had worked there for a very long time. It happens in all industries. It's no comment on the person. It's a company decision.
You're just a number, aren't you?
Exactly. And that could happen at any time. And it could have been me easily. And you can commit all of that and be all in on that, and then you're gone. Or you can make the decisions that you want to make, and that's what we decided to do. But I remember the moment where you knew you were going to leave, because Dan made a decision not to apply for a job that he'd been aiming for pretty much his whole life, and it was right there for the taking.
Well done.
And that, I think,
That's a big move in itself.
It was
Yeah.
tempting, yeah.
that was the beginning of the shift, because when you say no, it's those moments of what you say no to. And that I knew then that we were on, because him saying no to that when that was what he had shot for years, it's like, okay, we're doing this.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Strap yourself in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Strap
buckle up.
yourselves in.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could sit down with you both without asking questions about what it's like working together as husband and wife, right? Because I know what it's like sitting
but then
working with Joe, right? But for the other people, like you've both set goals, you've both took action, you've both stepped away from your job, now you're both working together full time. So
Yeah.
is it all sunshine and rainbows working together?
No, it's definitely not. You know that as well as anyone.
Yeah.
No, you have to work at it. You really do have to work at it. And I think that you do need, call it a mentor, a coach, somebody to guide you in that, because you need skills that you haven't learnt to be able to do that.
Yep.
That's the key. It's skills in your relationship as well as working with your partner. It's different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
It
Yeah.
is. And if you've never done it before, you do need to get some support.
Yeah.
And we've got support, as you know. We've got a fantastic group of mentors and coaches that we can lean on, and we do lean on them.
Yep.
So
And
yeah.
it comes back to proximity, right? We were talking about surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just the people that are doing the work, but the people that can help us in terms of relationships, making sure that we're communicating correctly.
Yeah.
But Brett always talks about having the tools, doesn't he? Make sure you've got the tools in your toolkit. And I think the skill set that they teach you through communication and conflict resolution and them type of things.
Yeah.
Like, no relationship's perfect, right? Joe and I argue. I'm sure you guys get heated with each other at times, right? But it's knowing that when one of you is in the wrong,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
kind of diffuse that argument in a short period of time and then make up and then crack on.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Brett Marie said too.
But
is more
I
powerful
think
than one.
That's it.
The pros definitely outweigh the challenges.
Yeah,
like
100%.
working with your partner is awesome.
Yeah.
Like getting to spend every day.
I
It is.
joke that he loves it. He loves it when
I
I
give
say,
her- I give her
let's
heaps
go
of
to the
shit and
plant
say, you know.
nursery. He's like, oh,
You know,
yeah.
I'm a bit sarcastic, but I do love it. I honestly love it.
And
Love
I think
working with
too,
Lex.
like how lucky can you be if this is the person that you've chosen to spend your life with? What's the point spending it somewhere else for most of the time? Like, at least then you're creating it together. When you stuff it up, you stuff it up together. Like if I want anyone in my corner, it's him.
Yep.
Because when it's 11th hour and we are back against the wall and someone's let us down and is meant to turn up and we've got to get something sorted to get photos happening or, you know, a water mains burst or something like that. And all of these things have happened. I know he's going to be there and I know he knows I'll be there. So we can, if we can't rely on each other, you know.
What have you got? What chance have you got?
Exactly.
What chance have you got?
But you're right, two is more powerful than one.
It is.
And when we're
Absolutely.
on, like, we're unstoppable. But if our egos start to have a relationship with each other, that
Which
becomes
happens.
Yep.
Which
It
happens,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is life now like you pictured it would be when you first decided that you were going to go into property flipping? Is this, can you like, oh, yes, this is what we exactly imagined, or is it different to what you imagined?
I think a lot of it is. There's definitely been a couple of surprises. Specific, like things have surprised us, but it's pretty
overall.
close to what we pictured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be challenging. We knew that we were going to love it, and we do love it.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Hold on tight. Strap
Yeah.
yourself in. Hold on tight, right?
Yeah. One of the biggest things I remember really desperately wanting to do that we both wanted to do was to take the kids away on a big trip.
Yep.
And we had talked about it for years while we were in our jobs, earning good money and unable to save enough to go on a holiday. And even though the money wasn't different, the whole approach was different and our priorities were different and we made decisions differently. And so we did that and took the three oldest kids away to see snow. And like even moments like that where you look back to the conversations that you had thinking you'd maybe never get to do it. And there's no money that you would exchange for that opportunity and time with the kids. And, you know, especially as they get older as well, it's like if that gives us the flexibility to go somewhere or to turn up at a school event or to...
Just gives you more choices.
Yeah.
You know, we got to go see snow in Italy. You know, Lex had obviously a bad accident, broke her arm, but having our own business gave us the choice to be able to fly back business class, for example. We wouldn't have been able to do that.
No. And the kids too were like surprised.
it.
Yeah, they thought it was just me getting the upgrade. And bless them, they were so excited for me. And then we were like, no, it's everyone. And they're like, oh,
Buzzing.
you know, just
Yeah.
something little like that isn't little, I suppose, but in the scheme of life, it's little. It was one of those moments where we were able to do something that we never thought we could do.
Yeah.
And
And the
so
kids
when
will
you,
never forget it, will they?
yeah, and the experiences.
Now they'll expect it every time
Yeah.
you go on holiday.
Yeah, we might have set a
Yeah,
precedence.
that's
that
it.
we,
Oh, well, it was a bad move.
the pressure's on now too.
The pressure is on.
And even each of them have said in their own words, in their own way, like they've noticed that you can do something different. One of them said, oh, well, when I go to the office, and then went, hang on, I'm never going to an office because it's
they've
an
seen you
option
too.
to them.
Yeah.
Like, do what you want to do.
Not an office that's not yours anyway.
Yeah, like to tell your kids, you know, do what you're passionate about. Find something that you love and go for it. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. Go for something else. But
That's a big point,
It's
right?
massive.
That I have highlighted and thought about is that Lex probably wasn't that satisfied in her job. I was pretty satisfied. Like it was okay. Like I didn't have,
that's pretty satisfying.
but it wasn't my passion.
Yeah.
And it's like you said before, it's a short life. Why not go for your passion? Why not do something that you're passionate about?
yeah.
Why just settle for satisfactory?
That's it. Why settle for mediocre when you can have exceptional?
Or we used to ask for a Friday off to do relationship code, you know?
You just do it.
Now it's like, yeah, of course we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, there's just not a question. And one little shift can change your whole way that you look at something or that you look at your whole life. Like suddenly things seem possible because you tried something different and it worked. Try something else. Okay, that might not work. Try something different again. You know, just that there's possibility and opportunity.
And when you think about kids seeing what you guys are doing, right? When they're in school, they're taught to like pick a subject, follow it, get a job in that subject, and then they feel like they're trapped in that subject/industry for the rest of their life. But, you know, seeing people like you guys go through what you've gone through and now find something that you love doing together as a couple. Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it? So, I read the watching on with lots of joy, lots of happiness.
Yeah, they are.
They're definitely noticing.
Yeah.
The older
and
ones.
I think there's a responsibility too that we've realised, and there is, of course, with parenting, but one of the ones that I don't think we ever took on board or noticed was the responsibility to like nurture their dreams, not just in a conceptual way, in, oh, yes, of course, follow your dreams, but actually when it feels really hard as a parent, like when you know that that might be a difficult path or that could see them struggle and that they could have a lot easier option over here, but to actually encourage them to follow what's true for them because that's been a massive learning for us, I think, in all of this. It's had a big impact on the way that we parent and seeing the kids differently in that they're not ours. We're just here to, you know, provide an opportunity and guide them through life as best we can. Yep. They're their own people. Yep. And, keeping really open to that so that they feel like they can be them, whatever that is.
Sure, they're very proud of you too with the ways you're going, so well done. We're going to finish off on quick fire round. It's a new bit that I've just introduced into the podcast, so I use the first ones to test this out. I originally had 5 questions, but then I thought, well, I'll ask 3 each, so we'll do it.
Okay.
Like that. So start with you, Lexi. Best deal, one line, and what made it the best?
Oh, gosh, that's hard, Neil.
I know.
Okay.
The second Padbury house was the best deal.
Yeah.
Because it flowed.
Yeah.
It just flowed like it.
And it's the one I didn't want to do.
Yeah, right.
It came to us.
In and out.
They came to us and said, you know, they saw us on social media. They said, do you want to renovate our house? We said, no, but we'll buy it off you. So we did. We bought it. And then it just flowed really well. The trades were good. The agent was good.
We spent hardly any time there.
Dream deal. It
was great.
Very nice. Danny, worst moment since you've started this flipping career? No filter.
Worst moment. I talk about this one a lot, and it was at Balcatta. Our back was against the wall. We couldn't find trades, and I was on my hands and knees with a mask on and goggles, sanding tile glue off the floor. It was horrific. There was dust and shit everywhere, and I was, as my teenage kids call, crashing out.
Yeah.
Just swearing and cursing and
crashing out.
Just had a total meltdown and couldn't believe that why I was doing this, and it was a low moment.
You do question yourself sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Lexi, biggest myth about flipping properties that drives you crazy?
Oh, this is a controversial one. Oh, the market's doing this, the market's doing that. Is the market any good for flipping? You know, that
was good.
Like at the end of the day, there's opportunity in any market. It's about what you're doing, what you're taking, looking at all of the factors at the time on its merits. There's opportunity in hot markets, there's opportunity in cooler markets, but you've got to just be able to pivot.
Love it. Danny, where is Intuitive Property Group in 3 years?
Ooh. It is doing multiple properties, couple of key people with us on board, and it will be in not only residential but commercial as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lex, one thing nobody tells you about working with your partner in business?
That you don't get to do their performance review.
We can bring that in.
We joke about
Bring
that.
that in.
Well, yeah, we might.
I have to ask the HR department for holidays.
Well, this one would be nice then. So, Danny, who wins the arguments?
Yeah. You know full well who wins the arguments.
we know the answer to that.
Never
don't we?
argue with a woman, Neil.
Never. Just you just agree. Just agree.
Yeah,
Hear them out.
something like that.
Yeah. Guys, it's been a pleasure catching up with you both. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming to the podcast.
Thank you for
And
having
you,
us.
thanks
It's
for
been
having
awesome.
us, Neil.
Yeah, it's been
chat.
really good. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Beautiful. 25 to 5.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in the same time next week so you can stay up to date with all cash flow positive property updates.